Title: The Implications of a Donald Trump Re-election, a look at potential policies and political landscape. In the event of Donald Trump's re-election, the U.S. political, social, and economic landscape could undergo significant changes, shaped by his unique approach to governance, international relations, and policy priorities. With Trump's previous term as a framework, we can anticipate certain trends and shifts that his administration may pursue. Here is an exploration of potential directions in economic policy, healthcare, international relations, and social issues. Economic policy and taxation. Trump's previous administration emphasized tax cuts and deregulation as key methods for boosting economic growth. Another term could likely see a continuation or expansion of similar policies, particularly focused on reducing business and corporate taxes to encourage domestic investment. Trump's support for energy independence may also drive policies favoring the fossil fuel industry, potentially revising existing environmental regulations. His stance on trade, notably tariffs on countries like China, could see further developments, impacting industries reliant on global supply chains. Healthcare and social welfare. Healthcare remains a significant and contentious issue in the U.S. Trump has voiced opposition to elements of the Affordable Care Act, ACA, and a re-election might see renewed efforts to dismantle or modify the ACA. This could result in shifts in healthcare accessibility and affordability, particularly impacting lower-income Americans. Additionally, other social welfare programs could be affected if the administration chooses to reduce federal spending on welfare in favor of supporting private sector initiatives and reducing federal deficits. International relations and trade. Trump's approach to international relations tends toward nationalism, prioritizing America First policies. A re-election could intensify this stance, potentially straining alliances like NATO and reshaping U.S. relations with countries in Europe and Asia. Trade agreements may be further revised to secure what Trump perceives as fairer terms for American workers, though these moves could trigger retaliatory measures from other countries. This America First philosophy might also drive a more restrained approach to foreign aid and involvement in international organizations, as seen in Trump's previous term. Immigration and border policy. Trump's position on immigration is well known, with policies that focus on securing U.S. borders and limiting pathways to citizenship. A re-election could reinforce these views, with an increased focus on immigration law enforcement, stricter visa policies, and an expansion of border security measures. Such policies could impact labor markets, particularly in sectors reliant on immigrant workers, and may also influence the social fabric in regions with high immigrant populations. Judicial and legislative dynamics. Trump's re-election could impact the judicial landscape, particularly if more federal and Supreme Court vacancies arise. Another term might allow Trump to appoint conservative-leaning judges, solidifying a conservative judiciary that could shape U.S. law for decades. Additionally, interactions with Congress could be challenging if the legislative branch remains divided. Trump's policies might face obstacles in a split Congress, requiring more reliance on executive orders to implement changes in areas like immigration, economic regulation, and environmental policy. Social and cultural impact. Trump's rhetoric and policies are often polarizing, potentially intensifying social divisions within the country. His re-election could prompt significant grassroots activism from those who oppose his views, which could impact social policies and movements in areas like LGBTQ+ rights, racial equality, and environmental justice. Trump's focus on law and order might influence policies on policing and criminal justice reform, potentially limiting reform efforts championed by social justice advocates. Conclusion. A Trump re-election would have far-reaching consequences across economic policy, healthcare, international relations, and social issues. Each area represents a complex web of potential outcomes, influenced by Trump's policy priorities and interactions with a politically diverse Congress and public. While some Americans may welcome a continuation of his policies, others may view it as a challenging shift.